Uh, we're gonna go ahead and just take a few minutes before we get started with the big show, and gonna let everybody know that we are live here for our top 30 games of all time. So give us just a moment here, Ray. Why don't you tell us about your Icelandic childhood?
Well, it was cold. And as you can see, I was the runt of the litter.
Yeah,
My brothers were like twice as big, twice as heavy, twice as tall.
but not nearly as handsome.
No, hairier too. Much, much hairier.
It happens. Oh goodness, goodness. All right, let's see. Gonna post this on Facebook so people can join us here in just a moment.
See if we can wait for a few people to jump online.
Looks like we got a few people coming up. All right. We're just about there. We are just about ready to roll. Looks like it is 7 o'clock right now. All right. So,
More dad puns? You think so, huh?
and speaking of which, why don't you get us? Why don't you kick us off with your brand of Ray humor?
My brand of Ray humor?
Go ahead.
You know, I will have to tell you this. Just so you guys know, there is never a good time to overtake a hostile, but there's always a good time for a hostile takeover.
Very true. Very true.
That one's for you, Dan.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, this is our top 30 games of 2024. We kind of waited until late January. Gosh, a couple of years ago, it was, I think, 20. I waited until like 2020, like March through 2022. So I feel like I'm pretty good here, kind of mid-January getting this done. Sean, did you like my review of Culk and Gull? All right. So I have to tell you before we get started, this was a good year for games, I thought, but it wasn't a great year. I feel like consistently, to me, 2022 was probably the best game year, I think, in the 10 years I've been doing the channel. I think 2022 was probably the best game year. There's probably more stuff that came out that year that I absolutely loved. 2023 was pretty good, and this year was maybe not quite as good as 2023. But it was still generally a good year. I don't know what your thoughts are on that.
No, I thought last year was a great year. It was a great year for my top 10. After that, they were good games, but I don't think anything was really stellar. But yeah, a couple years ago, oh man, just my top 30 was tough.
Yeah.
So, but no, I mean, I thought it was a good year.
It was a good year, not a stellar year, but a good year.
But honestly, there's a couple games that came out last year in 24 that are probably going to be in my top 10, top 20 of all time.
Okay, yeah, I'll concede that. There were some just truly exceptional games that did come out this year. I guess I'm talking about kind of the sheer number of games coming out.
Yeah.
But certainly quality-wise, there were some just stellar games. All right, we're going to jump into it because we're doing the 30 games here. We're going to probably be trying to move pretty quickly here, at least in the beginning, to get through everything. And we don't know how long this video is going to go, but we're going to tough it out. We may lose audio at some point. I don't know how long the batteries in these mics last. So
we're going to probably see us jump on and off because we're going to try and grab the boxes. We got them all stacked.
We got like all the games everywhere. Okay.
It's a mess.
All right. Why don't you go ahead and get us started? What was your number 30 game of 2024?
All right. My number 30 of 2024 was actually one that we played and reviewed not too recently.
Okay.
Cooperative game, which is one of my all-time favorites.
I think I know what it is.
Oh, I know you know what it is.
Weirdwood?
It is.
Weirdwood, yeah.
Weirdwood Manor. I love cooperative games, and this one here is actually fun. It's super, super deep. There's a lot to it, and it has some mechanics in a cooperative game that are unusual. The whole rotating of the dials, the way everything kind of moves around. I love how when the dials rotate, it locks you in and out of rooms. So it totally kills your path, but yet you can pretty much go anywhere you want in the map as long as it's open. So I thought this was a fantastic game. I loved it. I want to play through this even more.
It's a good game, and I agree. Those rings are pretty cool, and it's cool that it's got the different monsters, and so I think there's probably going to be some replay value there as well. Good game. All right, my number 30 game of 2024 is Kapow! Risk Dune. This is, of course, based on the Risk IP. We played this together a while back, and it's a good light war game that is really based on the Star Wars Risk, which is very loosely defined as Risk. But you've got the three things going on in it: the main battle, and then the two different tracks that you're each trying to get on, and then with card play where you're stacking the cards and stuff. And it's just a fun, light war game. Good introduction into the that IP. If you don't want to go to a heavier game, I think it's a good place to go there. All right.
Plays fast, and I think actually really great. Like my grandkids are getting old enough, they can almost play this.
Yeah.
I mean,
we can just stack those over there or wherever you can make room. Or okay, so all right. So now what have you got for actually, you know what, let's alternate. So what are you doing?
I'm looking for games.
Oh, okay. All right.
I'm trying to figure out where my next one's at.
Okay, well, they should all be over here.
Yeah.
This is all my 2024 stuff.
I brought some.
Oh, I got you.
You don't have all of the games.
All right, so I'll go ahead. I'm going to do my 29, and then you can do yours, and then you'll do 28. We'll do it like that. All right, so my 29 is a game we played just the other day for the first time. Fractured Skies from 4 Studios. This was a game that we played. I actually got this a long time ago, like in the middle of the year, and I just never got to the table. To be honest, I wasn't super excited about it, and we finally got to the table, and I was like, "Oh my gosh, this is a great game! It's area control, the production. I think this is the deluxe version. I think the production value is a little bit better here, but it's got those great magnets that just clip onto your ships, and really good. I really enjoyed Fractured Sky quite a bit. Thought it was fun.
Want to hear something funny?
Yeah.
This game right here, I saw it on your shelf for a long time. I kind of wanted to play it, but what made me really want to play this was my unboxing.
Yeah, that's true.
As soon as I saw the components in this game, I'm like, no, we got to play this.
Yeah,
we got to play this, and it lived up to its name.
Yeah, it's really a lot of fun. That's from 4 Studio. Okay, so we've got so that was my 29. What is your 29?
My 29 is a game that this is probably the 4th version of this game that's come out. Each one's just a little bit different. It's a light game. It's a fun game. It's one of my favorite games to get to the table with people who've never played any board games or whatever. Cooperative. But this is Horrified World of Monsters.
Oh, yeah.
Which is somewhere in that monster
no, it's not. It's
you
right
still
there.
Have it here?
Yeah, I forgot that one was.
Oh, yeah. That's American Monsters. Horrified World of Monsters right there.
Yeah.
I was
back on the shelf.
I have all these Horrifieds. I like them all. They're so much fun. It's just a light, quick game. I can get to the table and I can just play, and everybody has a great time playing them. And they're so easy.
And they're good solo too.
Yeah.
I agree. And this one's got some fun monsters. The coin, sword, and the Yeti. And so, no, it's good.
Yeah,
monsters.
and this one you can mix with which one is it? The Greek monsters, and it makes the Greek monsters actually even better.
Yeah.
So
all right, well, you can just set it down. You don't need to. All right. Okay, so that was your 29. What's your 28?
My 28. All right, this is a genre of games that I just got into within the last year and a half, thanks to you. Never played them before until now, but I like some better than others. I like the lighter ones, but this is Axis and Allies North Africa.
Oh, yeah.
So I think these lighter games for Axis and Allies, to me, are just hands down phenomenal. The bigger games are good. I like the bigger games, but they take up so much space on the table. It just, to me, they're just too busy.
Yeah.
But I absolutely love these ones here. Because the nice thing is I don't know if you can actually see it, but the map, there's so much space on the map to put your different stuff.
Map is huge.
It is. They're ginormous. I absolutely love this branch of Axis and Allies. This size.
The only, I think, negative about this one is they've got those tiny little British cars. Remember when I snuck up behind you and you didn't even see that guy?
Yeah,
But yeah, it's a fun and it's a different kind of version of Axis
Right.
and Allies. But yeah,
Yeah, isn't this the one that had the little dice tray thingy?
no, that was Guadalcanal.
Oh, that was Guadalcanal.
Yeah.
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 But yeah, Axis and Allies, North Africa.
Great game there. Okay.
Fantastic.
So that was your 28. My 28 is another cooperative game that we played recently that I had for a while that we finally got to the table, and it was really good. And this one is Spark Riders 3000.
Good game.
Spark Riders 3000 is it's a tower defense game. It's a tower defense game. You're on a spaceship. It's app driven. And you're moving your guys around trying to fight off these other spaceships that are coming around you. But there's also fun stories in the scenarios and little cutscenes. And this is another one I was like, well, we'll see. And then we played it and it was like, wow, why did we wait?
Oh,
but great game.
Production. Oh man, I mean,
it's another like deluxe,
as good as Fracture Sky. Just oh my gosh,
it's a toy box. It's a toy box.
Fantastic, and it can beat you up too. It can be brutal.
But
it is fun watching your ship just totally disintegrate. Fantastic game.
Happy to help you, Arthur, and I'm looking forward to AA Stalingrad as well, and the reprint of Battle of the Bulge. And Christopher, thank you. It's very kind of you. Thank you for being a great channel viewer. All right, so that was my number 28. Let me do my number 27. My number 27 is a fun game. I actually played this originally with my wife because she's been there, but then I played it with some of these other jokers.
I know what this one
is. And this is
Yep.
Let's Go to Japan. Let's Go to Japan is a game where you're literally planning a vacation to Japan. You're trying to figure out your itinerary. What are you doing on every day? And you're trying to figure it out where you're going between Tokyo and Kyoto. But it's kind of a card drafting. And drafting is not usually my favorite mechanic, but I liked it here. I played 2-player with my wife, and then we had everybody over. We played 4-player. And it's just this fun engine building.
Yeah.
How do you get the most points there, you know? So anyway, that's AEG. That is Let's Go to Japan. That's my number 27.
I think the most interesting thing about this game is you spend half the game playing it, then you spend the other
half
of the game
scoring it. Yeah.
And scoring is almost just as fun as playing the game.
It is. It's pretty cool. It's pretty cool.
Yeah, interesting game.
So that is my that's my 27. So now it's your 27.
My 27 is a game that I don't even know how to describe this game other than I'm just gonna. It's Battalion.
Yeah,
War of the Ancients. It's was based on. It's kind of the game. It's kind of based off is eluding me right now. But when this one came out, it actually looked really good, and it played super fun. We actually played this as a 4-player game. I think I prefer this better as a 2-player game. 4 was okay, but
4 is fun. I like 4. It's fun having the team, and there's choices you got to make with the team.
Yeah,
but I agree. At its heart, it's a 2-player. I'd play it 4. If I had 4 people and we said let's play it, I would play it 4. But I think it's better at 2.
Yeah, and I think the reason we struggle with it at 4 at first is that whole you have these little things in the corner. You roll a dice and see what order everything bounces. And for some reason, it kept going the same order every single round.
That was kind of wonky,
but it never really changed. But no, this is Battle Line. That's what I'm thinking.
Battle Line?
This is kind of like a Battle Line, but a little bigger, better production.
Yeah. Right, beautiful production, too.
Oh, yeah. Great
and that's Osprey Games.
Osprey, yes.
All right, so that is your, your 20?
That is my 27.
What's your 26?
My 26 is... there's a couple versions this game out, and they're both standalone. But this is Star Wars, the deck building game, the Clone Wars edition. So this is a game Cody actually got me into, and oh man, this game was just so much fun. It's unique. I love deck building games. I like fast built games, Star Realms and that kind of stuff. But the cool thing I like about this is you have your planet, and you have this stack of planets, and you know which planets are better than others, and you're always starting out whatever planet you want. But you're not always taking the best planets when that one dies, because you're always going to go through 3. Sometimes you're like, oh my gosh, I have to take this planet here because this one might bring us back. And I've done that. I mean, I've been on the losing end, and just because you pull the correct planet out, it's not the best one, you can still win the game. So much strategy, so much thinking, but still plays half hour.
Yeah,
super fast, 20 minutes.
It is.
Great
and that the choices of which planets to bring out when. It's phenomenal. I love Star
totally.
Wars deck building game too.
Absolutely. My 26. What is that? Fantasy Flight Games and Rebel. And Rebel, I got Board Game Geek said Rebel as well.
I don't know.
I don't think so.
Maybe that's like a foreign distributor.
I don't know. Probably, but Fantasy Flight Games.
All right, so that is your 26. My 26 is another game from AEG. I don't think you played this one because I think I just played this with my wife. But this is Undergrove. This is a great mushroom game where essentially, you're putting down tiles and you put down like seedlings that point into certain tiles, and then you can activate off them, and you put carbon, and you actually grow trees on these things. It's it's one of those games that, again, honestly, I was not expecting much from it. I was not expecting really to like this game all that much. I thought it might be fun, but nothing great. And we played it, and it kind of just blew me away. I really had a lot of fun with Undergrove, and then my wife really liked it as well. She likes just mushrooms generally, so she thought that was. I mean,
she likes
not drugs.
Yeah,
but no, but it's anyway. So I knew it was a game she'd probably get a kick out of it, and she did. And it's fun, and it's kind of a fun little sciencey nature game. So it kind of reminded me on some level. I mean, not necessarily mechanically, but just thematically, reminded me of Earth.
Yes, that's what I was just looking at the picture on the back.
Mechanically, it's quite a bit different, but they're fun. They're fun games. Anyway, so
good.
that is Undergrove. That's my 26. My number 25 is a game. Let me see if I can find it here for you all. Is a game that, oh gosh, it's clear down there. This is a game that Ray and I,
like 7 of them.
Ray and I played this. This is Tattered Flags Into the Whirlpool. Yeah. This is a Gettysburg game where it's not hex and counter. You got these like little, almost kind of like starburst symbols, but you're moving your guys, you're positioning there during kind of this engagement in the Battle of Gettysburg. And it was just it was a fun activation system. And I really liked the way you would roll the dice that gave you, because you're looking for like percentages to determine your hits and stuff like that. And to me, that was really innovative. This is a Herman Luttman game, who's like one of your favorite designers. I mean, I really like him too, but Ray just thinks Herman Luttman.
I need to take that guy out to dinner. He's designing so much good stuff.
He's done a lot of good stuff. Yes. And this is, I prefer, I think maybe my favorite game of his is still the Napoleon one, Vive l'Empereur. But I really enjoyed this one quite a bit. So that is my number. Tattered Flags Into the Whirlpool is my number 25. That's from Blue Panther.
Great game.
All right. So what is your 25?
My 25 is super simple. Spark Riders 3000.
Oh, there we go.
There we go.
There we go.
This was a really fun, great game. The app is actually really cool. I'm not super big into app games, but this one here is actually really fun because it's got some nice little cutscenes and some little funky little creatures doing their little comedy routines or whatever they're doing.
And I mean, good voice acting and stuff.
Oh yeah, no, it's absolutely total fun. I mean, you can do vocals for everything too, so you can just kind of say different stuff you want to do.
You can read your cards. You can read it into the computer, and it activates it.
No, really great game. It was really fun. I actually really enjoyed this game, and I mean, it's cooperative. I can't say enough good stuff about it.
That's really fun.
It was.
And that was your 25?
That was my number 25.
And then what is your 24?
My number 24 is a lighter version to a heavier game that's been around since like, oh my gosh, the early 80s. I can't remember when the original game came out. I don't get a chance to play it very much, and I used to love playing the original game, but I actually almost prefer this game now because it's so light, and that is Blitz Bowl.
Blitz Bowl, yeah.
So Blitz Bowl, this is the Ultimate Edition for, of course, 24. I have the previous Blitz Bowl. I know I have the original Blitz Bowl that came out, plus all the squads. I like this game. To me, Blood Bowl is a great game. They have Blood Bowl tournaments in my local game store all the time. But the thing with this one is I can get it to the table and I can play it fast. And I have a lot of different teams, and it's just so much fun. It's a little bit different take, but I think it's a great game. Your diehard Blood Bowlers there, not so much on it. But for me, when I don't have time to play, it scratches the Blood Bowl itch, and I get it done in a half hour.
Yeah,
So
there's something to be said for that.
that's
So I haven't played that one,
that's
but
the
that's Warhammer. That's a
Yep.
that looks like a good one.
Warhammer game.
And that's your 24?
That's my 24.
All right, my number 24 is another game that we actually played on New Year's Day, I believe. This is 1812, Napoleon's Fateful March. This is a war game, point-to-point movement. But what was really cool and innovative here, I thought, was you've got the blocks where you're setting up the blocks and kind of depending on cards you play and other factors, you'll determine how many blocks you get because your blocks are your orders, right? And you've got your armies behind player screens, but you're setting these blocks, more or less taking turns setting up blocks, saying where your orders are. So you can see that your enemy has an army that has an order, but you don't know what the order is. Is it going to march? Is it going to force march? Is it going to evade? Is it going to defend? Is it going to set up a supply depot? Is it going to forage? Is it going to scout? So there's all sorts of really cool kind of
or is it nothing?
Yeah, or is it a dummy?
Is it a dummy?
Or is it a bluff?
Yeah.
So it's really good. I think this is a fun one. The only thing is you get to the attrition stage, which is like a cool step, but it would kind of bog down the game a little bit. And consequently, it's a long game. And I don't know if I'm going to keep this one in my collection, just because it is such a long game. But it really impressed me with so much it had there. Games that are that long, I got to be careful with. But anyway, that's my number 25. That is my number 24. 1812, Napoleon's Faithful March.
Yeah, this is a 3 to 6 hour game that really should be 1.5 to 2 hours.
If it were under 3 hours, I'd be happy with it.
I agree.
I'd be happy with it. But that's VUCA Simulations. That's my number 24. My number. See, I do 23 now.
VUCA Simulations.
Yeah, I do my 23 because you've done your 24, right?
Yeah.
Okay, my number 23. This is one, again, we played fairly recently. Had a lot of fun with. I liked it more than you did, I'm sure. But this is Halloween 2. Halloween 2 is pretty much the same game as Halloween 1, which came out last year, or 2023. But it's a different map. A few different cards and stuff like that. But essentially, it's the same game. But I love it. It's a hidden movement game that plays in about an hour. One of you is Michael Myers. You're not running from everybody. You are stalking everybody. And it's a scary game. It's a tense game. I think when you're Michael and when you're the victims trying to get away from him. I really get a kick out of this one. And we played it a couple of times. Not too long ago.
I like this much better when we play with a higher player count. So I think this was a better game when we played.
Because we played with 3 and then we played it with 4.
Yeah, I enjoy the higher play 4 players better.
It's
a good game. It's a good game.
I agree.
And it's tough. If you're not Michael Myers, if you're the people, it's tough to win.
But
good game.
Yeah, I really like it. So that's from Trick or Treat Studios.
Good game.
That is Halloween 2. That's my number 23. Okay, your number 23.
My number 23 is in the same line of another one that I've already mentioned right now. It is the lighter of the heavier games, and this is Axis and Allies, but the G.I. Joe.
Battle
Arctic Circle.
Yep.
Like this one a little bit better. It's a little bit different take, but I think it's just fantastic. It's got it's got hexes on this one where you're bouncing to, rather than just having kind of open terrain, and you're moving you're still moving everything. You're still doing basically everything Axis and Allies, but it's just a whole lot of fun.
Yeah.
I think they did a super great implementation of this game, especially just kind of the way everything interacts, going over the ice, trying to get between all the different islands. I think this was super fantastic game. I like this one just a little bit better than North Africa.
Yeah.
But this was really, really good.
Yeah, I think it's great too. Especially, I was a big G.I. Joe kid growing up. I loved it. And I think it's a great implementation of the Axis and Allies system. We actually have got, we're just over there right now. We got the new one, the Battle for the Deep, that just came out. We'll be having our unboxing and review up before long. But this is just a super fun game. I agree.
No, this is a great game. Great game. My number 23, Renegade Game Studios.
And what is your number 22?
Okay, my number 22 is probably one of the heaviest story games that we played. Well, not heavy. Heavy is it's hard to play, but more story than any other game we played so far. And that is Tales of the Arthurian Knights. So I never played the what was it, Tales of the Arabian Nights.
Yeah.
Always wanted to, never got a chance to. And so when this one came out, I was super excited to play it. This is just, the stories in this are so good.
Mm-hmm.
And the thing is, the gameplay is so much faster than I thought they originally played. I thought these were like really long, drawn out games, but they're not. They're fast, quick, and really fun games.
Yeah.
And the stories are just so great, and the different choices you make, and the paths you can go down,
and kind of how you
great.
put the cards together to find out what the stories are going to be. I mean, it's and then the book.
Oh, definitely.
The book is just
and
great.
All the choices you have. I mean, it's just so good. I absolutely love this game. This is one that I mean, you can play it over and over and over again, and you're getting different stories every time because those card combinations are always changing. It's always making it different. But yeah, a lot of replay value in this. Super great game.
Yeah.
Tales of the Arthurian Knights. And who is that? This WizKids.
WizKids did that, yeah.
WizKids did that.
Okay, so
that was my 22.
So my 22 is a solitaire game. And I know you played the other game in the series, but I don't know if you played, I can't remember if you played this one or not. But this is Manila, The Savage Streets, 1945. This is a great game where you are the American Army invading Manila right at the end of the war, toward the end of the war. And you're trying to take the city from the Japanese, who are kind of entrenched. And they are, what it is essentially, you just put down an enemy unit in all of the sectors that have different terrain types. And what you do is, as you move your forces in there, you just flip that over. You add the number of the terrain type to the number of the counter. And then there may be some surprises. They may ambush you, or a sniper attack or something. And then you just kind of have to roll to beat that number. And I'm not going to get into all the physics of it, but it's a great solitaire war game. The preceding game was Stalingrad, Advance of the Volga, 1942. That one was great. I think I like this one better. It's just it clips a little bit better, and you've got the track printed on the board where you didn't in the other one. So anyway, really like that one quite a bit from Take Aim Games. Did you play this one?
I think I did. I know I played Stalingrad, and I think I did play. I grabbed this and borrowed it and played it. Yeah, no, it was a good game. Yeah, very good. Good really, solitaire. Good
really
solitaire
like
game.
Okay, so that one is my 22. So my 21 is probably the only game I can't physically get out and show you because I've actually got it. I don't have the original box. I've got it all in a big multiverse box because this is the DC Comics deck building game Justice League Dark. I love the DC Comics deck building game. I love every iteration of it, some more than others. But this one is great. You've got kind of those like transformations that you can do with the cards that you can like bring them in and out. And there's kind of like, it's kind of the magic theme of it and stuff like that. It's just a lot of fun. And we played it a couple of times and we both just really enjoyed it.
Oh, it was a hoot, man. We were laughing during it. It's just great fun.
Yeah, I love all the DC Comics deck building games, and this one was brilliant. Okay, what is that's Cryptozoic Entertainment. What is your 31?
All right, my
21.
My 21. You know, this is getting to be a theme. My 21 is another lighter version to a heavier game that's been out for quite a while. But I like lighter games just because I can get them to the table a little bit faster, and they're great for teaching people. And then you send them into the heavier game. And this is one I don't think I've gotten you to play yet, but this is Deceased Gotham City.
Yeah.
Outbreak. I love Zombicide, and I love the DC verse, but you know what? I really like these small boxes. They're all standees. You don't get all the miniatures that you get in the big ones, but you know what? The scenarios all still play the same. And it's still Zombicide. Yeah. And it's in a smaller box that I can pack. I can take on a trip someplace, or I can take to a buddy's house and we can play it. But it's the same Zombicide game. They just don't have the overblown components.
Yeah.
But I had so much fun playing this one.
That one does look good. I went all in on the DC, so I'm eagerly waiting that Kickstarter to come this spring.
Yeah.
But I can definitely see the appeal of this.
And the Marvel one came out the year before, and I absolutely loved the Marvel one.
Yeah.
Or maybe a couple years before that one. But so I really like the Marvel. The Deceased to me is just as good. I mean, are they as good as their big brothers? Maybe a half a ranking down.
Yeah.
But they're still worth it.
Yeah.
Still worth it.
Yeah.
There you go.
All right,
that was my 21.
So that's your 21. So before we move on to our 20s, and you'll do our 20. Before we move on, though, let me just say that yes, I agree with you, Rob, that Renegade is doing a super job with Axis and Allies. It's so much fun to see that game come back in such a big way under Renegade. I've been a real fan of that. And you're right, Manila is also awesome as well. All right, so let's go ahead, and you've got your 20.
My number 20 is a game we've actually already talked about. It's somewhere. If I can actually find it. The production of this, we have already talked about as being stellar to none. And I'm sure you've already figured that one out by now. And we'll go back to Fractured Sky. Yeah, I really, really like this game. As you know, the thing is, because you got your screen, you don't know what your opponent's going to put down. I mean, you got 3 ships that have to go out on the map, and you're putting the numbers underneath them are anywhere from 0 to 10, but you don't want to put more than 10, or you start getting negatives on the different locations that you got, or all your locations. Yeah. So you got to be careful what to do. They know if you put a 1 or a 10 out, but they don't know what it is. Stellar game. Oh yeah, really, really good. This is a good introduction game too. It's
you
nice.
think that's a good gateway game?
I think it is. I think it is. This is light enough. You can teach this to anybody, and it's not hard.
And yes, especially I think like kids and stuff would really get a kick out of the
toy factory,
the artwork and the toy factory.
Oh yeah,
and everything there. Yeah. No, but it's a fantastic game.
Number 20
Studios did a great job there.
Number 20, Fractured Skies, by what is it?
4 Studios.
For studio games?
Yeah.
Yep.
All right. My number 20 is one we've also already talked about. So get ready. This is Tales of the Arthurian Knights. So Tales of the Arthurian Knights. This is, just to echo what Ray said, this is a great storytelling game. It's honestly, it's right on the line for me. It may be even less of a game and more of an activity, but I'll still call it a game because it seems like it's just more about the stories than winning or losing or anything like that. But the book in here is so much fun. You're handing that book around, and it's just, but I love the cards and like how you put together like an aspect of a personality that you mix with a person, and then the mixing of the two gives you a story, or you're putting the cards on kind of the I can't remember what it's called, like the time card, and that gives you a story, and you're matching the numbers there. It's just so good. It's such a fun game. Because it is a story heavy game, like a choose your own adventure. So that's Tales from the Arthurian Knights. That is my number 20. My number. Oh, do you have something you want to say?
No, your number 19.
That's WizKids. Yep. My number 19 is another game in a series of games, and this was a game that the original game is something I'd wanted to play for a long, long time. And Ray had been talking it up, and I actually broke down and I bought the first game in the series last year. And then, fortunately, I was able to get a review copy of this one. But this is
I think I know.
Cthulhu, Death May Die, Fear of the Unknown. I've already played through, I think, 3 of the missions. I played the first one with you and Al. I played some with my stepkids. I played one solitaire, and it's fun at all player counts, I think.
Yeah.
But this one's too is I like the investigators. The monsters are good. You've got the cosmic monster. You got the freezing monster. It's just, I don't know. I love Cthulhu Death May Die so much. I'm so glad I got into this game. It's kind of like a Mansions of Madness without the app, you know, but great dice chucker, trying to get all the dice you need. And sometimes even when you fail, it increases your sanity, which you want initially. That's a good thing in the game because it levels you up, but then it can come back to screw you over.
You want to go insane fast, but then slow it down when you get.
Yeah.
But
there's some great scenarios here too that we've been playing through. But really like Fear of the Unknown. That's from Come On, and that is my number 19.
Cool. So my number 19, this one actually may surprise you just a little bit, but my number 19 is a good cooperative game we played not too long ago, but this is The Mandalorian Adventures.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, we've had conversations about this game and what's better and what's worse, but The Mandalorian Adventures actually, I think, is a really good storytelling game. It's really, I really like the way they do the card system on this, where you're playing the cards. You got the bottom track down the bottom, and the more cards you put down, of course, the worse things are actually going to get for you, because you're going to start triggering different things. But the nice thing is you can you see the board. It's all laid out. I do like books that give you the map. You can make sure where everything's in. So you're kind of trying to figure out, how am I going to get to the different areas? What card am I going to play at what time? But then again, what are my other players that I'm playing with? What are they going to play? Do they need to do the same thing? So it's that little tug of war. It's like, well, I'm going to play this. Sorry, but it's going to hurt you.
Yeah,
but I need to do it.
The card system in there is really good.
It is,
and I really like how it is a flip book.
It is.
Right?
I think the only thing that would probably make this one a little bit better for me, or a little higher up on the rating, is if there were some more scenarios. There's
just the 4.
There's just not enough scenarios that come in this. There needs to be way more scenarios.
I agree. I absolutely agree.
But no, great game. What is this by? Unexpected Games and Geek Check Games.
Sure. Yeah, I just know it's Unexpected Games, but you know what? It's Corey K designed it.
Yeah. And he does some good stuff.
Corey K, I mean, back in the day when he was at Fantasy Flight, when they were on their game, just forget about it. He came up with so many good games.
Well, wasn't the first game he did in the series The Initiative or something along those lines? And then this is kind of based off of that.
And, I never played that one.
And they can just do so much with that. I mean, they have so many IPs they can go into that. But so that's my number 19.
All right, what's your number 18?
Mandalorian Adventures. My number 18 is a game that I knew was coming out. I didn't get it. And I played other games, and people kept referencing this game, so I had to go buy it. And I recently did, and it is, I think, on the bottom of a pile someplace. But this is one of my favorite genres of games. This is a racing game, and this is Joyride: Survival of the Fastest. Now, I'm a super huge racing fan. I mean, I love Thunder Road Vendetta, Car Wars 6th Edition. Heat's one of my all-time favorites. I just, Formula D, I just love all kinds of racing games. But this one here is just great. The big, giant, wooden, chunky cars that you get just crashing each other. Some guys going for the finish line. You ram the back of them, spin them around. But the cool thing is just because you turn people around doesn't necessarily make them out of the game. They can recover really, really fast. The only thing that's going to kill you in this game is poor dice rolls, which that's my problem. But I think this is a fantastic game. The production looks good. It's just gorgeous looking game. It's by Rebellion, but the only thing that's keeping this from getting any higher on my list is it only comes with 2 tracks. And I just got a standard retail. I didn't get the full big blown, but I am buying the rest of the stuff. I will be getting the rest of the stuff, and I think that's only going to put this higher up on my list.
Yeah,
because I think this game is so much fun. And especially when you get to the scenarios where you're putting out the different stuff all over the track, Mario Kart style, where you're running over things and you pick up rockets and then you're throwing rockets at people, you're dropping mine, you're throwing oil. It's just so much fun.
And again, it's a fun dice throwing game to try to figure out how far you're going to go. I mean,
ramming people into a wall so you can take off and go around the corner only for them to catch up with you and do the same. It's fun. It's chaos. It's fun. I love racing games that are like that. But there you go. My number 18, Joyride: Survival of the Fastest.
Yeah, it's a great game. That's Rebellion Unplugged. Rebellion Unplugged. Okay. Good game. And before we go on, fake name. So I didn't do any of the Kickstarter for Cthulhu Death May Die either. I've just bought it retail. The ones I bought, of course, I've had some sent to me. I bought season 1, or I bought the first one and then season 2. I got no complaints. He's got like all the stuff for
all in season 1, all in the second one, all in and I have seasons 1 through 4, and then the new one that's already out there. I've got all of that. I backed all of that as well.
Yeah, so I didn't, but I haven't. I don't have any regrets with just the retail stuff. All right, so my number 18 is a game that is a reskin of another game, a classic game that's about 10 years old. A game that we both enjoy quite a bit, and then I one night we were playing something else, and then I said, let's just play this quick game. And then you were interested. We played it. Great theme, great IP theme. This is Star Trek Star Realms. Star Trek Star Realms. I love Star Realms, and it's fun. I know a lot of people are poo-pooing this game, and I like to say poo-pooing because they don't like the artwork, they don't like the stills of the ships. I got no problem with it. I have so much fun with this game that it's just awesome. It's just quick. It's fun. This is like the ultimate. Just let's hurry and play a deck builder game, because it's 20, 30 minutes tops. It's not a long game, and it is. This edition is awesome because you got tokens instead of the cards they had with the original, and then also too, it's got a little board that you can play with, which is, it's a little cardboard fold out thing, but it's nice to have that. I think it to me it makes it more fun. It helps keep everything organized. Really enjoy Star Realms, and I think this one is I like this better than original Star Realms. So that is Star Trek Star Realms. That is from Wise Wizard Games. That is my number 18.
I forgot about that game.
Yeah, it's a good one.
I actually forgot. Yeah, I went and bought this just because you.
I know.
And I do. I think it's better than Star Realms just because I like the theme better. It's essentially the exact same game.
Yeah.
The cards are the exact same, but because it's Star Trek,
Yeah.
I can relate to that more than I can relate to
Blob. I agree. Between the IP and the component upgrade, it's more fun.
Hands down. Hands down.
Okay. And then my number 17 is one we've discussed already. Another deck building game, another IP game, Star Wars, the deck building game, The Clone Wars. So pretty much, we don't need to go back over too much of what Ray said, but it's just, again, this is another fun, fast light game. It's a little meatier than Star Realms. There's a little more going on here in Star Realms, not a ton more, but again, it's a quick game. It's a fun game. I like that you can attack other players' cards in the Galaxy row, and like we were saying, with the planets, you can just put out planets, and depending on the okay.
I'm sure you can comment.
Oh, okay. Depending on the time, what's going on in the game, when you play those planets, you can go ahead and have some special advantages. That's pretty fun. So that is Star Wars, the deck building game, Clone Wars from Fantasy Flight Games.
So are you talking about the difference between this one and this same game, but the non-Clone Wars version?
Yeah, that's what it sounds like.
They're basically the exact same game, just different cards. They actually have rules in here to where you can use both of them together.
Yeah.
So
yeah.
But if you're referring to like the LCG from Fantasy Flight, that Star Wars, no, then it is different. Then it is quite a bit different. I mean, I can see bits and pieces of that. I feel bits and pieces of that in here, but it's still a different game.
I just was thinking of it. I was at Half Price Books last night. They've got the StarCraft Fantasy Flight game there, and they wanted like $200 for it, but it was all real. The box was all really tattered. I was tempted. I was
going to go in there the other day because I was at Ashley Furniture, and my wife managed to get me into the car without going in there.
Oh, wow.
Oh, those wives.
All right. So that was
my wife.
17. What is your 17?
My 17 is another game that we've already talked about. It's another game that I cannot show you a box of that because it is, in fact, the DC deck building game, Justice League Dark by Cryptozoic.
Yeah.
There are so many haters out there for the DC deck building game, but I will tell you what. I think that's one of my wife's favorite games. I love it. Now, it's wonky, okay? Batman's running around with like Wonder Woman's lasso, okay? Whatever. I don't care. It's just a fun deck building game. You have that deck of the main bad guys. You got to get through it all, get your points at the end. It's just a really fun game. I absolutely love this version. I love all the new stuff that's been coming out for it.
Yeah.
It is just too big of a box.
And I got that. I got the Kickstarter edition of that.
Yeah.
And I went all in for the Arkham version, which is coming out because it's such a good game. I just love the DC Comics deck.
Yeah, I'll never turn it down. It's so much fun. And it plays fast. It's one of the fastest. It's easy to set up, easy to put out. It's a great game. I mean, I can't say enough good stuff about the DC deck building game.
Yeah.
So you guys can hate on it. Other people can hate on it, but I don't care. There's too many people I know that love that game, and I do. So,
all right. So you that was your 17. What is your 16?
My 16 is a nice, small, portable solo game.
I think I know what it is.
By GMT Games.
Oh no, I didn't know what it is.
This is Pacific War 1942. The Solitaire
That's
Travel
not GMT Games. That's Worthington Games.
Oh, is that Worthington?
It's Worthington.
Oh,
yeah.
Okay. My cut and pasting did wrong.
Oh, okay.
That threw them off. Oh yeah, it is worthy.
Yep.
Huh. I don't know how I got GMT on that.
I know. I knew what it was. They said GMT. Like, no, what?
Yeah, I know you're right. Yeah, you're right. Okay, no. So I really like these. These small travel games are some of my most favorite games because I do motorcycle trips, or at least I used to do a lot more motorcycle trips when I was younger. But they fit in my side bags. I can take them with me. I can play them in hotels. And this one here is just so much fun. It's what do you call it? Basically a States of Siege.
It's
reverse.
like a reverse States of Siege because instead of trying to defend yourself, you're closing in on a point.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, it's a great game. It's a wonderful little solitaire game.
They're fun. There's a couple more of these coming out. I know there was another one that came out.
Yeah,
which
the
was
1812 ones over there.
Yeah, the 1812. I like the 1812 one as well. I like this one a little bit better.
Yeah, that one's a superior of the two.
I think it's a better game, but to me, so much fun. I just like these small games.
Yeah,
some of my favorite games out there. But there you go. Pacific War 1942 solitaire travel game by Worthington. Better get that one right next time.
All right, so now it is my 16. My 16 is one we just played not too long ago, and it is a new edition. I guess it's not really, they didn't change much, so it's more like a reprint of a game from 1979.
Oh,
yeah. This is from Pongo Games, which is Worthington.
Yeah.
This is Divine Right. Let me get that out there. Divine Right.
Yeah.
So this is a great kind of fantasy war game, but it's really more of a diplomacy game because you're trying to get these kingdoms that are neutral to kind of join you, and then if they're allied to someone else, then you're trying to break the alliance between them. And they do just it was just kind of fun. I liked how the kings would have their own, again, you'd have personality cards that would match the kings that would give them, certain advantages or disadvantages when you're trying to get them on your side. It's really just kind of a fun fantasy game. Fun map, fun counters and stuff like that. But you can tell it was made in 1979.
Yeah.
It feels like an older game. For all that, we had a lot of fun with it, I thought.
Even the artwork, they kind of left 1979.
Yeah.
They didn't even update that. The cool thing I liked about this game is it's so many rounds, but it kind of plays in two stages. Because at first you're kind of spreading all over the place, and then after everyone's spread, everything's taken over for the most part. Then it gets very diplomatic at that point.
Yeah.
And so the first half of the game definitely plays different than the second half of the game, and it's just fun, great game. So I'm glad to see this one get reprinted. I would have really liked to see the rulebook and the artwork and everything else. And actually, I don't mind the map. I love the map. But the cards and the rule book and stuff like that, I really wish they would have brought that up to date.
Yeah, the rule book could have been a little,
because the rule book still it's just mostly all text like you would have seen in 1979. It needs to be updated, but it's easy to learn and really fun game, really great game.
Yeah, no, it is
300%.
All right, so that was my 16, and then let's see, do I do my 15 now?
15.
Okay, my 15 game we already talked about. Battalion, War of the Ancients. So again, pretty much everything that Ray said. Sorry to make you dig that out there.
Yeah, it's on the bottom.
But this is just a fun, again, battle line game. It's so light in terms of it's easy to learn, easy to play, and yet there is some real heavy strategy there. How best to defeat my enemy, how best to get them to keep drawing cards, because that's a victory condition if your enemy runs out of cards. It's just a really solid board game that plays super easy. So.
It is, and it's 30 to 45 minutes.
Yeah, it's not long.
It's a fast game.
Not long.
A lot of fun.
All right, so that is Battalion. That is my number 15 from Osprey Games. Okay, what is your number 15?
All right, my number 15 is a game that it's a newer version of a game that I didn't think I was actually going to like because I was okay with the first game that came out. But it's Wormspan by Stonemaier Games, believe it or not. I love dragons. I collect castles and whatnot. So this is just kind of right up my alley. And I like the changes. Excuse me. I like the changes that Wormspan did to the original Wingspan. I like the track that you got your little guy that's going to be cave delving and whatnot. your box is falling, your components are falling. But yeah, the changes they made to this game, I think, is just so much fun. I think they made it a better game. I know they have, what is it, FinSpan that's going to be coming out. I'm curious to see how they do that one and what additional changes they make. It's like it's a little heavier game, but I do like it. I like they got rid of the little bird dice tower thing. I wasn't a super fan of that, but I think this is just a great game. I really had a lot of fun with this one.
Yeah. Because I think we played that originally the first time, 3-player. I played it with my wife since.
Yeah.
It's fun and it's simple because there's just those few actions that you do every time, and so it's an easy game to learn. But there's a lot of stuff you can chase. There's a lot of points and stuff you can chase in the game. So
you can go so many different routes to victory on this. One person can go off this way, another person. It's kind of like a Feld game in that way, where there's just so many paths to victory that you don't always have to keep doing the same thing.
Yeah,
but no, fun game. Wormspan, Stonemaier. So
all right,
I gotta admit, I like this one.
Yeah,
that was my 15.
That's your 15. Okay, what's your 14?
My 14 is another game in a long series of games that's becoming one of my favorites, and it's one that I need to play more of, and I want to say I get names wrong all the time, but Dave Thompson game.
Okay.
Dave Thompson? I think it's Dave Thompson.
Yeah.
I hope it's Dave Thompson.
David Thompson?
David Thompson? Undaunted 2200.
Yeah. I knew that one would be
Osprey Games. That I absolutely love that game. It was so much fun. I like the way they did the different maps to where you have, in cases, different elevations. I think it's the whole Undaunted series to me is just so much fun. That this one here to me, it's just in space. I just like it so much more. I like the fold-out board. To where you just got the different maps, put the map out, play it. That way you're not finding all the tiles, putting them together. So setup's a little bit faster. I really like this one. I think I almost like this one better than the other Undaunted series.
Really? You think it's your favorite of the Undaunted series?
It very well might be.
I like a lot about this, but what makes this stand out is the dice, the elevation.
Totally.
To me, that's what kind of makes this game really pop, in my opinion.
It does.
I don't know. I still like the World War II stuff, but this one's fun.
Yeah, it's a great game, hands down. I want to see more in this. I want to see definitely more on this line, and I'm pretty sure we're going to see more in this line. But yeah, there you go.
Yeah,
Osprey Games.
So that's good. You say, Tony, do they need a fish span? Who knows? Do they need any game? But let's we'll see. We'll reserve judgment and see how FinSpan plays out. Undaunted Stalingrad is my favorite in that series. My wife and I have got 10 games in. We still got 5 games to go for Undaunted Stalingrad, so we got to fix that one out. Okay. So that was your
that was my 14.
My 14, one we've already talked about. G.I. Joe, Battle for the Arctic Circle. This is, of course, the G.I. Joe.
Got it right here.
Okay. G.I. Joe, Battle for the Arctic Circle. Again, we don't need to go too much into the weeds because we've already discussed it. But this is Axis and Allies, powered by Axis and Allies. Like you said, I like the hexes. I like it's a pretty, for an Axis and Allies games, in a lot of ways it's kind of light. It
Super light.
Like you don't have quite as many units on the board, but what you do matter more, and you're trying to occupy the victory hexes and stuff and gain those victory points. It's just super fun. Really, I hope at some point Renegade does more G.I. Joe themed Axis and Allies games, because I think they could have that, because you got like special characters here that give you stuff, and I'd like to see what more they can do. Anyway, that's G.I. Joe, Battle for the Arctic Circle, Renegade Game Studios. That's awesome. That is my number. What did we say? It was 14.
The characters and their special abilities is kind of what makes this game for me.
Yeah.
Because every character has their little special abilities, and the fact that I do like that it's light. So if you want to play an Axis and Allies game, this is the one you're going to pull out, because you're going to play this one in an hour and a half.
Yeah.
It's so fun. And honestly, other than history, what fits Axis and Allies better than G.I. Joe?
Yeah. I remember like as a kid thinking to when I first started playing Axis and Allies, thinking, oh, G.I. Joe would be so fun if they did a theme. And of course I never did. Now, here's the thing. I actually forgot to put this one down there. But this is my number 13, was a game. It is me, right? For my 13?
Yeah, go for it.
So my number 13 is a 2-player game, a re-implementation of an older game that I know you enjoyed, that I had actually played once down in Texas. I just bought it recently. I never played my copy, but this is The Lord of the Rings Duel for Middle Earth.
I've not played this
So it's
one.
based on Seven Wonders Duel, but it's better than Seven Wonders Duel in my opinion. Yeah, it's great. And you've got an area control where you've got a board. You're trying to control the locations, but at the same time, you're trying to make alliances with the free folk, and the first one that can make alliances with the free folk will win. And then you've also got the chase between the Nazgul and Frodo and Sam to the actual, like an acrylic plastic uh, ruler thing that's moving them to Mount Doom. And of course, one of you is the Free Peoples, one of you the Fellowship, I should say, one of you is Sauron, and it's just a really fun kind of reimplementation of Seven Wonders Duel. Really like it. This is from Repost Productions, and I'm surprised how much I like this little 2-player game. Very fun, very fun.
One I've yet to play, but I really want to play.
Yeah,
this
we'll
one.
have to hit it some night.
Definitely, because I've always wanted to play this one.
Okay, so now it's you. You're doing your 13.
I'm doing my 13.
Yeah.
You feeling strong?
What do you got?
Did you work out today?
All right.
My number 13 is probably, other than the Arthurian Nights, probably one of the heaviest reading games that is on my list.
Yeah.
And this is Awakened Realms, Tainted Grail, King of Ruin, and it's in the bottom of that pile way
wow.
over there.
That's 24?
That is, I have that listed as a 24 release. I think it came out like really early 24.
Okay.
So
I didn't even think about this one.
Yeah, at least to show it, BGG threw this down as a 24 release for me.
You can't even see poor Ray.
That's all right. Nobody wants to see me anyways. This, I think Kings of Ruin is an absolutely fantastic game. I think it's a better implementation of the original one that came out. They changed a few things. And they actually made it better. I still like the older one, but I think the stories in these games are just so good and they're so fun. But I'm really big into the story games. I really like the map exploration. I remember playing this one, boy, just trying to go back and forth between all these different locations.
Yeah.
Oh no, wait, no, I'm confusing another game. Never mind. We had to go back and forth, but I'm thinking Destinies for one. My brain's.
Oh yeah, I remember this one. We were going back and forth because
trying to figure out where you got to go, what you got to do. It's like, oh no, I talked to the wrong person. What do I got to do? I love those story games like that, and this one is so fun.
It is a big box, and I opened this up, and I was so intimidated by just organizing it. And so Ray had to organize it for me because I didn't know what the hell I was doing. It's a fun game. It's an interesting game. I'm actually probably going to purge this one because I just don't. It's too big for me. I don't know if I'm going to get it to the table again. But yeah, it's a good game. It's undeniably a good game.
Luckily, I have this game as well, and I'd actually already configured mine and set mine up and played mine. So when Cody got his copy, it was easy for me. I already knew how to do it. It was piece of cake.
All right, so that was your number.
That was my number 13, Awakened Realms.
Okay, so
my number 12.
Yep.
Okay, my number 12, I am going to say is probably the heaviest game on this list.
It's not heavier than this. This is pretty heavy.
Not by poundage. This is probty weight-wise the heaviest.
All right, okay.
This is probably...
I know. I already know what it's going to be.
You bet you already do.
Does it start with an R?
Yes, it does. All right, I'll put this offside. Red Dust Rebellion by GMT Games.
Yeah.
This game, I love coin games, but Red Dust Rebellion is one heavy game.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe it's just me. I know there's some other people that really, really love this game. I think this is a fantastic game, but for a coin game, to me, it's just a little heavier than I want, and it's a little longer than what I want. But I absolutely love every faction plays so different. And I will say this is the one thing I love about this game is in the coin games we played, and we've only been playing it for about a year.
Yeah.
I think the factions in this coin game have to work together more to try to complete their victory conditions and backstab their buddy at the end in order to win than any other coin game we've played.
Yeah, and granted, we've only played maybe 5 or 6 coin games at this point, but I agree with you. The interaction of the factions here are the coolest thing about this game.
Yeah.
I absolutely think that. It's just a shame it wasn't a shorter game. Um, yeah, I have issues with this game, but I think it's what do we call it? A
Flawed
flawed
masterpiece.
masterpiece. That's right. Yeah.
Yeah.
Because it's good, it's solid, but it's just it's a bear. It's a bear.
You know, in the times we've played this game, I was mentally exhausted
Yeah.
by the time I finished playing this game. But it really is the design. I mean, I can't credit them enough. The design of this game is just absolutely fantastic. And for those that play the super heavier games, I mean, I used to play some really heavy games, but this one, it's good. It's really good, and it's right there. And if you like coin and you like heavy, that's your game right there.
Yeah, no, I
It is
agree.
fantastic. And just being on Mars, phenomenal game. Phenomenal game.
Yeah. Good stuff, GMT Games.
GMT.
All right. So that
Mine
was
number 12.
your 12. Okay, mine 12 is one we've discussed already. So get ready. This is Undaunted 2200 from Callisto from Osprey Games.
Oh.
So again, we don't need to really get into the weeds here with this one, but suffice it to say, if you like the Undaunted, if you like deck building, tactical war games, you're going to love this one, especially with the sci-fi theme. I think too, this is like I mentioned. For me, what makes this game stand out is the elevation and the fact that you roll different die depending on if you're shooting down, shooting level, or shooting up. I think that is really a lot of fun. But the theme and the artwork here is really fun. I think they did a great job. And in fact, I think when we got this, we played it like 3 times. And I'm trying to think, I don't know if I've played it since. I really like this game. We need to play it again.
Oh, hands down. And the mechs. I love the mechs in this
Yeah, the
game.
mechs are pretty
The mechs
cool.
are
Yeah.
so good. I absolutely love this game.
It's fun.
I
It's
really
super
do.
fun.
I've been wanting to play this again and go through all the scenarios. It is just a ton of fun. Absolutely love
Well,
it.
you know, and let's just say it, David Thompson is just a great designer.
I know.
His stuff is just
Now,
stellar.
if I can get Herman Lutman and David Thompson
to
together,
work together.
oh,
Yeah.
Phew.
Well, David was at I told you he came and he spoke at was it Wyoming, and super guy, just a wonderful guy. And maybe this is a good time to let you all know, and I'll kind of make a more formal announcement later. I'm going to be attending Circle DC in late March, and I think Dave Thompson's going to be there. Of course, Kevin
Nice.
Bertram's there. I think Jason Matthews is there. Should be a lot of fun, and I'm really looking forward to it. So anyway,
that'd be fun.
Yeah.
That'd be fun. So if you think Kings of Ruins a big box, you should see the Firefly 10th anniversary.
yeah, that's a monster. That's a
Oh, that's just too big. Woo.
Okay, so then that was my 12. So now it's my 11. My 11 is a game, and we played this and we enjoyed it. I think maybe I like this one better than you did because it's a science fiction game, but it's a very unusual mechanically. It's a very unusual game, and this is Arcs. Arcs. It's not technically trick taking, it's trick taking adjacent. And somebody plays a card, and then somebody else can, play off of that card and find ways to play off that card. What I liked about this too is there's the ambition where somebody can actually say, this is what we're scoring this round. And the idea of by the end of the round, they're expecting to be in a position to score that one well. But then all sorts of things can happen in between when you declare that ambition and when it's actually scored. I liked it, and then I like too. It's just got some of the basic spaceships on a map tropes and ideas here of of maneuvering around and going into a warp and into the space battles. And it was cool because I like because you got the lore cards that give you advantages and other cards, and I had these cards that it made me like really powerful when it came to combat. And so I people weren't attacking me initially in the game, and I was able to get ahead. But actually, you were like way ahead in like resources and stuff. Like you were scoring like mad, and then I can't even remember what happened at the end. But I just was able to pull something out, and you made a decision you had to benefit somebody, and it benefited me over somebody else, and I was able to use that to win the game. Anyway,
it pretty much came down. The weird thing about this game is I end up with like 3 ships almost the whole entire game. I can never get more than 3 ships. It was really bizarre, but yet I led most of the game. And then it came down to I wasn't going to be able to win, but it was my choice as to who was going to win. And that's the one thing I did not like about the game. I hate king making like that.
Oh, okay.
I do not like it when I'm that deciding factor. It's like I got to do something. And it's a good game. There's a ton of hype on this game. I'm not the hype guy on this one. I mean, I like it. I'd play it. It's an interesting game.
Yeah,
it is unique. I will give them that. It's a really unique game, and that's the coolest thing about it. I love games that are outside the norm and something that's totally different, and that it is.
All right. I like ARCs. Leader games. That's my number 11. Okay. Well, now what do you got?
My number 11 is one that I probably just need to take home tonight and borrow it from you because I've been wanting to play it since we originally played it and haven't had a chance to play it. And this is a game by Osprey Games, and this is War Story Occupied France. It is a really nice story-driven game that David Thompson, and this game was absolutely phenomenal. I loved what they did to this game. I really, really enjoyed how they did the scenarios. And it is a story game. I don't want to give anything away on this game, but I thought it was really cool that we had everything on the board. And as we're moving stuff around, it's like, oh, hey, you did this, go here. And you're thinking, oh, man, I've totally flubbed it. But we didn't. The game will make you think that you're like in a really bad position, but you actually end up being in a good position. You just don't know it, and then it shifts you around. It's really the story. You know what? I can't even talk about this game. The story shifts you so much in this game. It's really hard to follow. The writing is phenomenal on this game. And I really want to play through the rest of the stories in this.
Yeah, it's it's really a lot of fun. I did a playthrough of the
intro scenario,
prequel game that doesn't come in the box. You can go on their website and you can download it. And I did a live playthrough, and it's and then we played it. I still haven't played. I think the last mission or something. I can't remember. There's more game in there I haven't played. There's only three missions, and it needs more to it because it is fantastic. It's really a good job what they did with the kind of choose your own adventure aspect of the game.
Oh yeah. Well, and you have to make tough decisions because you have your characters that are out, and there comes times in the scenarios where you have to kill one of your characters. You just don't have a choice. One of your characters is going to die, but which one's it going to be? It's like, oh man. I mean, you get vested in these characters. You really feel for them. The story just sucks you in so good.
Does a great job.
Oh, it does. It does. Job. I mean, I want more. I really want more of this. And I mean, if all you do is just give me another box that's got more stories of this, yeah, it's absolutely really good. I just need to go get my own copy. That's what I really need to do.
It is a fun game.
But
it's
super
fun.
It is. Great game. Plays, from what I've seen from watching yours, plays great solo. We played it as a 3-player game with Chris. Played great. And that was one of my favorite things about this game is the decision making. It's like, it literally was like we were in occupied France and we were in, this little hostel someplace, and we're trying to figure out how we're going to get out, having all these big discussions. Where are we going to go? What are we going to do? And you have these tough decisions you got to make, and you kind of get those debates. It's a story-driven game, unlike I've seen before.
Yeah,
so good, good,
and it's a theme that's freaking awesome. World War II, occupied France. It's great.
What more can you ask for?
All right, so that's your number 11. That's Osprey Games, War Story, occupied France. What is your number 10?
My
top 10 on deck. Thanks, Rob.
All right, okay. Top 10. All right. Now we're getting into they're all good. I don't think we've mentioned a bad game yet. But my number 10 is oh man. Okay. So it's a coin game. So you probably already know which one it is based on what we've talked about.
I think I know what it is.
But the coolest thing about this coin game is it's a 3-player coin game.
Oh, okay.
And it was really unique.
So it's okay. All right, go ahead.
Vijaya Nagara.
Yeah, Vijaya Nagara. Yeah.
Yes.
It's kind of I think they call it like their irregular warfare,
or
because it's technically not a coin; it's coin adjacent. But you're right. Yeah, Vijaya Nagara.
Yeah, Vijaya Nagara. I have it down here somewhere. I mean, you're burying me in all these games over here. Is what you're doing. So Vijaya Nagara is. I mean, I absolutely loved this coin game. Excuse me. So I remember when we first played it, we actually did a rule totally wrong, which the rule we did wrong happened to be, the faction I was playing, and I got totally decimated. But that's okay. Once you figured out how to play it correctly, this one just jumped really, really high for me because it's, like I said, it's a 3-player. I don't like playing bots in coin games. So if a coin game's a 4-player game, I'm going to play it 4 players. I just don't like the bots.
I agree.
I love the 2-player ones. What is the
British Way?
The British Way was phenomenal and stuff. But this one was really, really good. The factions played so unique.
It took us a while to crack this, but once we did, it was really good.
I absolutely love this game.
And I love too with coin and with these irregulars how you're selecting your actions, right?
Yes.
You're trying to figure out what your actions are, and you're moving you can do the event, but then you're ineligible, right, for an action the next time and stuff like that. It's just a real fun stuff there. So I really like that.
Well, and the coolest thing about it too is like, it's because you know what events are there, and it's like, oh, okay, so whatever you do is going to determine what the other guy does.
Yeah.
But there might be times you're like, oh, you know what? I'm just going to come down here and get a resource this turn. I'm going to let you guys take your turn, and I'm going to lead in the next round.
Right.
And you really got to kind of play that. And you got to see what everyone else does, so you can manipulate that a whole lot. That's actually what makes these coin games so good.
Yeah,
this one is just phenomenal.
Vijaya Nagara, GMT Games.
Yes.
All right. My number 10 is a game in a series of games that we both love. They're cooperative. It's a cooperative game series. Again, series some are better than others. This one, frankly, I was not expecting a whole lot of, but it's quickly kind of become one of my favorite of the series. And this one is Zombicide, Army of the Dead. This was just a real fun game. I really liked how they did when you were exploring and the zombies would spawn in the buildings and stuff like that. I thought that was really well done. You have like the like quests, the like mini objectives, side quests that you would do in the game that I thought was really fun. Just good characters, good weapons. You feel like you're right off the bat in this one, you feel like you're ready for battle, and I really got a kick out of that one. The movie was okay. I thought the movie it's based on was just, it wasn't bad, but I like the game a lot better than the movie. But
it's for me, for some reason, when I saw this Army of the Dead, I was thinking like Evil Dead,
Army of Darkness,
or Army of Darkness. I'm like, so I totally got the wrong movie. But I watched the movie too, and it was okay.
Yeah,
but no, this version of the game was I really liked, and I'll tell you what, the theme fits Zombicide so well.
Yeah,
that's what made this one so good, is because, especially since I had seen the movie, it just, oh my gosh, it just really came to life for me.
Yeah,
great
super fun. So that is Zombicide, Army of the Dead, and that is from Come On. All right, my number 9 is a game that I predict we're going to see again from somebody else a little bit later. But this is a fun game that came out this year. I had the privilege of actually doing a preview video for this game. It's effectively a tactical war game, although it's got a very unusual science fiction theme. And of course, this one is World Spanner Factions. I haven't even taken this one out of Shrink yet. But this was designed by our friend Brett, and it is great. Like I say, it's essentially a tactical war game, hexen kind of war game. You got standees. You've got a mountain of characters to choose from, and what's cool too is they've all got like stats, like a ton of stats. And so when you're doing these challenges or you're fighting people or whatnot, you're like comparing the stats, and then you're drawing cards to see how they resolve. Right? You can play this with dice, but it's so much more interesting to see the way the cards work and play out with each other. And then on top of everything, what really brings the charm to this game is the idea of you've got all these people throughout history and lore and science fiction and literature that are all taking part in this game, to fight each other. So you've got just these kooky stories that come out of it. This game tells phenomenal stories, and it's so much fun. Like I say, I know you'll probably have more to say about this one later, is my assumption. But World Spanner Factions is fantastic.
Good choice.
All right, well that is World Spanner from World Spanner. So all right, and that is my number 9. So now we are at your number 9.
My number 9. Okay, so my number 9 is a solo game that I almost prefer not to play as a solo. I think it's a solo game.
Yeah, I think I know what you're talking about.
But I prefer not to play it as a solo game. It is a GMT game. It is a big, heavy box, and it is I, Napoleon.
I, Napoleon.
Oh my gosh, this game is so good. It is so good. So when I first played this game, Cody calls me up and he says, we're gaming. He's like, so I started playing I, Napoleon yesterday. Still set up on my table. You want to help me finish it? I'm like, oh yeah. So I came over, and this game was so much better to me, 2-player, because we actually had the discussions of what we're going to be doing. It's kind of like Napoleon and his worst general. And we got to figure out exactly what we're going to do. And then we did some stuff wrong because there's some fiddly rules in here, but there is so much game in this box.
Yeah.
And the decks of cards are ginormous. And the thing is we went through them all.
Yeah.
It's like, oh my gosh. It is. You see everything in this game. You don't know where it's going to come out. I mean, when you got 100 cards and they're coming out in some random order all the time, and then you have all the individual decks that are going to come out based on the different eras, and they're going to shuffle in. It's like, oh my gosh, this game is so good, and this tells one of the best Napoleon stories.
It really does.
A board game I have ever
seen. And because really, it's all in the cards, and what do I make the choice with the cards, and how can I manipulate, the other countries, and then the battles play out, but it's all done with cards, and it's really fun and interesting.
So good. I mean, it is a heavy game, and it's a long game. It's up to 4 hours to play this game. But like I said, you sit down with somebody. When we played, I think I came over and we finished our game, and we played 3 or 4 hours.
Yeah, we
were still kind of learning the game as well. It felt like we were playing for an hour and a half.
Yeah,
the time went by so fast. And that to me is a sign of a fantastic game. You don't even notice the time go by.
I agree.
It is so good. It's like watching a 3-hour movie that it's just like you can sit through it because it's so good. You're so engrossed.
It does a great job.
Wonderful game. My number 9, GMT games. I, Napoleon. Fantastic.
All right, that's your number 9. What is your number 8?
My number 8 is a big, huge box game that it's a remake of a different game, of a Lord of the Rings game, but it's a different IP. This is Dune War for Arrakis by Kaman. Now, I never played, what is it, the Lord of the Rings, Fellowship of the Ring, I think it is?
War of the Ring?
Or War of the Ring. Never played it, always heard about it. I know people that have it on their top game of all time. So when this one came out, I was actually really curious to play, especially since it's the same designers, just a different IP. And I really like Dune. Of course, I really like Lord of the Rings as well, but this game played so good, and each faction plays so uniquely different. It is unreal.
Yeah.
We've played it 2-player. We've played it 4-player. We've played with and without the expansion. It plays so different either way. And I think I prefer this game 4-player than 2-player.
Yeah.
I really like 4-player. I mean, when you're playing a 2-player, you have basically both factions on your sides. You're combining all your decks. But when you play this 4-player, and each side has got to split their factions up, and you only get those 1 or 2 cards from your faction, it is so much harder to try to figure out how you're going to do things. The Fremen are so much harder to figure out how are they going to try to be able to get across, do what they need to do, disrupt the spice. They really have to utilize, I think, the worms a lot more. It's just the game changes. To me, it's almost 2 different games.
Yeah. I
love it.
I like it as a 4-player. I still think I prefer it as a 2-player though. I like having the total control of the factions. But because I actually took this down to Salt Lake and I played it with Zach and Sean and Max as a 4-player. And so I played it a few times. I played I probably played it more as a 4-player than I have as a 2-player. And I have fun every time I play it. But I do like that 2-player. And I actually went all in on the this is a review copy they sent me, but I went all in on the game found for the next iteration, which is going to come with everything, and I'm super excited. This is one of those games when it came out, I was kicking myself I didn't do the Kickstarter because it was such a fun game. So
and the 3D miniatures that you get for this thing are just absolutely fantastic.
Awesome.
The production, I mean, it's come on. So the production of all their games is second to none. But I absolutely, I really do like this game. It is fun. I'll never turn it down. I'll play this game all the time, even 2-player. It's still a really good game. And I'll tell you what, if you play one side or the other, it is such a different game.
It is. It's very asymmetrical, right?
It is so different, and that's just what's really super cool about it.
And it kind of reminds me of Star Wars Rebellion in that sense. It's a very different game depending on the side you're playing. Yeah. All right, so that's from Commando's number 8.
That was my number 8.
My number 8 is I, Napoleon.
Right.
I, Napoleon, which we just talked about. So we won't get again too much into it. Wonderful solitaire game that plays great as a co-op, where you make decisions together. But I was really super happy with this game because I did one of my subfields of my PhD was Napoleonic history, Napoleonic warfare, and stuff like that. And it's so fun to see how imaginative they were to create the history in this way, to implement the history in the game there. I thought that was just tremendous fun. And I thought that when Ray came over and we played it together, it was even more fun kind of making those decisions together.
It made it, to me, it just made it a better game.
Yeah.
It really did.
So anyway, we covered this one. I, Napoleon, great game.
The one last thing I will say about this, and this is why I think this is a better 2-player game. There is so much going on in this game. There are so many different tracks that what we end up doing is we almost split the board in half. And I kind of paid attention to one side of the track to make sure we got all this stuff done, and he paid attention to the other because there is a ton going on in this game, and that's why there's so much. It's so lengthy.
Yeah.
So it really does help having that other person there to watch over some of the other stuff.
Okay, so that's my number 8. My number 7 is another one we've already covered. This is Wormspan from Stonemaier Games. Wormspan. So Wormspan, again, we don't need to spend too much time on it, but I like this a lot better than Wingspan. Wingspan was a pleasant surprise to me. Everybody's saying how great Wingspan was. I was like, it doesn't look like it's that good. Theme didn't do anything for me, and I really like Wingspan. But Wormspan, I kind of was expecting it to be good because I like Wingspan, and it exceeded my expectations. I thought Wormspan was. I like the dragon theme, but again, it's just these few simple actions that you take and the tracks that you're kind of going down, the caves you're exploring there. Really fun game. A lot of avenues to victory. A lot of ways to gain points. A lot of tracks and stuff. Just very imaginative and a lot of fun. Wormspan Stonemaier Games. That is my, what we say that was, number 7.
I remember when you wanted to play this, I had played Wingspan like years back with a different group.
Yeah.
And Cody's like, hey, I got Wormspan and you want to play it? I'm like, sure. When? And I kind of tried to put it off a little bit, but I'm actually glad I played it because I did. I like this one. I agree. Way better than Wingspan.
We'll see. We'll see how Finspan plays out there.
Finspan, not a fisher, so we'll see.
Yeah, neither am I. That was my number 7. So now you're number 7.
My number 7. Oh, hey. Oh, man, this is the third game of this series that I actually have on my list. But this is a 2-player only version of this game. It is a GMT game, and it is just a Robin Hood.
Yes.
Coin game. Now, this has probably got to be, okay, thematically, this is the best coin game they've ever done. I absolutely love this theme. I love the Robin Hood theme. I love all the Robin Hood movies, all the Robin Hood stuff that ever comes out. I absolutely love it. This plays this was so good, so fun. And I never would have thought about a Robin Hood coin game series.
Yeah.
So, but for a 2-player game, I do like the British way. I do like the different maps that come in that. I love those ones. But this one is just really unique and really interesting and just fun, and it's a short game. It's hour and a half game. It's not super long, but just so good.
Yeah, I agree too. This was again unexpected. In fact, when I first played this game, when we first played this game earlier in this year, I was thinking, I mean, this could be game of the year. I was thinking, I can't imagine another game being better than it. But it's got the justice and the order track, and if you're Robin, you want justice. If you're the sheriff, you
Yep.
want order. But I like how you're moving the sheriff's trying to get his gold.
Yeah, you're trying to get
To,
you're trying to get that carriage all the way
yeah,
into
yeah,
Nottingham, but then Robin Hood's got to try to stop you from getting that carriage
hmm
in, and that's just a tough battle for Robin Hood to try to
yeah.
prevent. Oh no,
It's no, I agree. This was just such a pleasant surprise
Mhm.
for me. I mean, I thought it'd be good. It really exceeded my expectations there.
Yeah,
Guess Robin Hood,
yeah.
GMT Games.
This may be my favorite coin game.
Yeah, I
It
could see
maybe
that.
I like Cuba Libre.
Yeah,
Cuba Libre is really good, but I really enjoy this one, and it's the theme. I think the theme is what does it the most
yeah,
for me
it's
on
got
this
a
one.
great theme. It's got an
So and
absolute.
and, and theme is super huge to me.
I agree. I really like that one
All
quite a
right,
bit.
but that is my number 7 guest
Yeah,
jest
a
of
guest,
Robin
a
Hood
geist. I don't
GMT
know.
games.
All right, so that was your
7.
7, and then are you on 6 now?
I'm on number 6. All right. So number 6 is one that we've actually already talked about. I have it somewhere in a pile underneath me. I can't find it though. But this one here probably shouldn't be as high as it is, but the only reason it is because of the theme. I'm a super
Oh
huge
yeah,
Zombicide
yeah, yeah,
fan.
yeah, 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 yeah.
This has got one of the best Zombicide themes that I've seen so far. I
Yeah.
mean, I'm super excited about the DC one coming out, but Army of the Dead fits this game so well. This made this game so good to me. I absolutely love this one, and I still need to get this one. I haven't. It's one that I haven't gotten yet, but I need to get. But I absolutely loved this game. Huge Zombicide fan. I mean, I got my little DC one in here too, but so much fun. And I know I think on this channel we've talked Zombicide to death, but
Ah,
this one does some unique things. It does some fun things, and that's the cool thing I like about Zombicide is every time a new one comes out, they give you something totally different,
yeah,
and they keep it new and they keep it fresh. And this one did that, and it did
yeah,
it really well. And the theme just dripped, and it was so good
yeah.
that yeah,
So and just the new, like I said, the new rules about spawning and
yeah,
the objectives and stuff. They
yep.
really did a good job with this one.
Oh no, hands down, phenomenal game. There you go, Army of the
All
Dead.
right, Army of
Come
the
on,
Dead, Zombicide.
that is my number 6.
Okay, my number 6 is one we've already talked about. This is uh Kriegsgeschichte, War Story.
Oh yeah.
And yeah, so again, everything Ray said, this is such a good story driven game. This is a choose your own adventure game in World War II. I like to, you've got uh, the people, the agents. And what I like is you're not like, each player isn't playing the agent. It's not like that agent isn't their avatar. It's uh, you're collectively making decisions for all of them, right? And it's very well done. It's a good well, I mean, again, getting back to the story, it's just a good time making those decisions, seeing how it plays out, seeing where certain leads lead you, and then it kind of leads to an explosive climax, literally explosive. And it's just fun. Really loved War Story, Occupied France. Another great game from David Thompson and Osprey Games. That is my number 6.
So good.
My number 5 is another game we've already talked about. A Guest of Robin Hood. Now, when we played, is it under zombie or under zombie side?
I just put that somewhere.
I know.
There it is.
When we played this in, I want to say we played it in March, February or March.
Yeah.
When we played this, I remember thinking this probably will be my game of the year. I remember at the time thinking I can't think of a game I like better than this one, or I mean, I can't see myself liking a game better than this one this year. And of course, I did eventually. But it's so good. It's so fun. Wonderful 2-player game. Again, it's not that long. It's like an hour and a half.
Yeah.
And it moves and it clips. There's a bit of a learning curve, as with all coin games, but it is just great. it's a wonderful 2-player game that we both really got a kick out of. So that's a guest of Robin Hood, GMT Games.
Super fantastic.
Yep.
Yep.
All right, so that was my number 5. So what is your number 5?
My number 5 is a game I know we're definitely going to be seeing on this list a little bit later on.
Okay.
Now, I haven't played a lot of Hex Encounter games other than the last couple of years. You already know which one this one is.
I do know what it is, yeah.
And this is probably one of the better Hex Encounter games I've ever played. And this is Burning Banners by Compass Games. I thought this game was so good. There's so many different factions in this game. The map is so huge and there are so many scenarios. But it's essentially a team game, which is one of my favorites. I love cooperative games, and if it's not cooperative, team is my way to go. I just love working together with other people. And I absolutely love the way they do this game. I kind of get a little bit of an Axis Allies feels, and the fact that you're generating money every turn and you're using that money to buy your troops you're going to put on the map. But the coolest thing about this one is your people and all your troops have to spawn in the cities for the most part. But if you have someone in a city, you can actually vacate them, go do their thing, free to city up. So during your turn, you can still spawn. Yeah. So it's not like Axis and Allies where, oh, hey, you get all your stuff at the end of the turn, or you get all your stuff at the beginning of the turn and deal with it. No, you can manipulate your troops enough to where you can utilize those new guys that are going to be coming in. And it's so much fun. Then when you play, with the magic cards and all the other special abilities, it's so good.
Yeah.
It is just so good. The map is ginormously huge. There's so many different places you can go. You're never really locked down, and every faction is wildly different. And it is absolutely fun.
Agreed. Let's move on, because I think there'll be more to say about Burning Banners. Yeah. All right. So that was your number.
That was my number 5. Burning Banners.
So number 4.
My number 4 is a game I know is not going to be on your list because it's a game I know you've probably never ever played and you never even thought about. And you're probably going to be surprised it's on my list. And I'm only going to give you a little teeny tiny box because it is the main box is huge, but it is the 7th Citadel. Now I'm just bringing this is the expansion box for the Final Throne, one of the campaigns. Now this is probably one of my all-time favorite story games. I absolutely love this game because you have your little square cards, you're building your map. You have your shadow cards are going to go around it, so you don't really know what's going on. But there's just so much new stuff that you're going to be discovering, trying to find. I mean, there's hidden stuff that show up on the cards, the different text you're going to read. It's the story in this is just so good. I mean, I loved 7th Continent that originally came out. I think 7th Citadel does it better, but it is just, to me, it is fun. And if you really like a good story-driven game, there is a ton of story in this game.
Is this solitaire? Is it cooperative?
1 to 4 players.
Okay.
A lot of people play it solitaire. I think
is it cooperative or do you?
It's I play this one cooperative. Is how I play.
All right.
I don't know if it's necessarily competitive. I've never paid attention. I've only ever played this game really solo.
All right.
So I've actually never paid attention to how it plays with other. I usually play a couple characters, 2-handed solitaire. And or sometimes I'll just play one character and I'll just go through it and see what it does. But I just love the stories that this offers, and there's so much of it. There's just a lot of story to this game.
Oh, that's it. Yeah, I've heard of it, but I've never played. And who publishes it?
This is by Serious Pulp.
Okay.
But super fun, and I know there's even an expansion for this, which I have coming in because I really love this game.
Okay, that was your number 4.
That is my number 4, the 7th Citadel.
All right, so now we're back to me. So number 4 is Star Trek Captain's Chair. This was another game that we played not too long ago. It's from WizKids, and it's a deck building game. It's based on the Imperium system that Osprey did, but it is a really fun. I love the Star Trek theme here. I like this better than the Imperium game largely because of the theme, but I like this because you got different factions, you got different captains, you got Picard and Cisco and. You got Shran and Klingons and Romulans and Discovery, which I'm not a fan of the Discovery, But what you do is you're competing over systems, over planets. You put your spaceships there, but you get all these different cards, and they do different things. They do the way the cards function are so interesting, and I really like how you've got that. The way you add cards from your deck when you have to reshuffle, but then you get to the development deck and you can like buy cards. Anyway, it's a really clever deck building game, and there's a pretty decent learning curve here. It's not a super accessible like Star Realm Star Trek is, right?
Oh yeah.
But it's so rewarding and it's so much fun. I was I like this one frankly a lot more than I thought I was going to. It's just fantastic. Anything you want to say? Or
Do you know why you like this one more than you thought you would? It's a 2025 release. That's why it's not on my list.
oh,
So when Cody and I just so you know,
Yikes.
when Cody and I were doing this and we were putting these lists together over the last couple of weeks, there
Uh,
literally was like 3 or 4 games that BGG shifted from 24 to 25.
yeah,
And this was one because this
I
originally
didn't notice
was
that.
on my list and this one shifted,
I did not notice. I should have double checked.
which is fine. And it could have been recent or I don't know. But yeah, this one, if this was a 24 release, it's top 5 game for me. Hands down.
Yeah.
I mean, I love Imperium. I do want to get the expansions for still, and I really love the way it plays. This one, I agree, is so much better for the fact I love the ships. I love going to the planets. We totally screwed that up when we played it, which we're really good at that. It's the old brains, I guess it is, or the first time we played. But yeah, we messed up a few of those. But I love this system.
Yeah.
The way this system works and the way you go through, and it's like the cards, depending on what they are, you can either play them from your hand, or they can only be played from your hand, or they can only be played if they're down in front of you, or they can only be played if they're out in your tableau. So it's like, oh, but I got this ability, I want to do it, but no, you can't. If that was in your hand, you could play it. So it's like you got to be really careful how you play it. It is so good.
And I like they've got the isolinear chips or like your action
Yeah.
things, which is pretty
Yeah.
fun. Well, shoot, I feel bad now that that's a 25 release, but oh well, I played it in 24. So.
Well, that's what I'm trying to figure out. Why is this game not on my list?
Yeah.
No.
Okay, but anyway,
I'm going to give you this one because I've seen this listed as a 24.
all
release.
right.
So I'm going to give you this one, but don't be surprised if it's on my list next year.
Okay, no, that's cool. That's totally cool. All right, so that was my number 4. My number 3 is a game that I'm betting we're probably going to see it on your list too. But this is
You're not a betting man.
Gettysburg: A Time for Heroes. This is from Worthington Games. This is a great kind of point-to-point movement game that is Gettysburg Civil War. You've got it kind of riffs off of Chancellorsville 1863 and Freeman's Farm 1777, but it is a great game of trying to capture locations. And what I love about it, points on the map. What I love about it too is the dice rolling and how you're trying to roll for doubles. Right? Are you okay over there?
I am. I'm trying to find games.
Okay, you're rolling doubles, and you're essentially, depending on all the doubles you get, that's going to have some kind of game effect. But then you can also spend cubes to kind of change things. You can also you have the cards. I can't remember what they're called right off the top of my head, but they have the sugar and spice because they let you do all sorts of things. So whenever you're doing anything on the game, you're wondering what your opponent's going to have there. But it is an absolutely stellar game. Gettysburg: A Time for Heroes from Worthington.
I forgot to put it on my list.
Did you really?
Oh.
I thought for sure this was going to be. I thought this one might be number 1 on your list because the way you were talking about it.
Okay, I can't find the game that I'm looking over here. Oh no, I just found it.
All right.
Okay, this really should be a top 10 game for me.
Yeah, I know. That surprises me that that's not on there.
Yeah, I don't know how I missed this one. This game is so. I think I've ranted and raved about this game since we've played it so many times.
Yeah.
You even gave me that other game to take home and play. No, this one.
I think it's a better game, but I still like
this one's
Farm.
Yeah, this one's way better. I absolutely love the troop movement in this game. Oh, and our games of this were so tense.
They were.
That
first game you crushed me because I wasn't paying attention. But then after that, they were.
Yeah, there was a rule you didn't realize, but that's beside the point. The
No.
second game, yeah. Once you figured out that one rule, oh, it was so close.
It was.
It was.
Gosh, it's a good game.
Oh my! It was a fast game. Oh, lovely, wonderful game. Worthington, phenomenal. Yes, this is supposed to be on my list. It's not on my list. My bad.
Okay, so now it is your
My
number three.
So my number 3 is a game we actually already talked about, and it's a game that should be no surprise to you that's actually on my list because it's always been one of my favorite games of all time. And it's one that I've probably invested more money in than any other game possible.
Yeah.
And it's Cthulhu Death May Die.
Yeah. You love Cthulhu.
The stories on this game, I have so much fun playing this game every time I play it. I don't know why. I mean, I know people that are like, yeah, it's a good game. It's fun. I enjoyed it. But this game is so tense. It's so hard to win. And it always comes down to your sanity. Just you got to take the sanity of your characters and get it right to that brink of death. And that's when you're going to win. If you don't get it up there, the chance of you winning is really nil. But the other thing that I think I really like about this game is this game does not help you out, and it hurts you if you're a turtler. If you don't move fast in this game, Zombicide is another one. Zombicide, you got to move. You got to go as fast.
Yeah.
If you don't go as fast as you can, the old one's coming out, and you're done. You might as well just pack it up, restart, play it again because you're not going to win.
Yeah.
But this game is so tense. I love this game so much. I can never get enough of this game. I absolutely love playing it. Every time I play it, it's fun.
And this Fear of the Unknown has the distinction of being the only iteration of the game, one of the scenarios that I won. And that was my character died, but I was on a winning team, right?
Yep.
But it was you and Al and I were playing it, and I couldn't believe it. It was like you were like gaming the dice. You're trying to do everything you can to get the dice right, and you did it, and you rolled it right at the end, and you got it. But I contributed. I like severely weakened it before my character was lost. But that's the only time I've been part of a game that I can say I was on the winning team.
Yeah, I think that last round, I had gotten the perfect cards to where I was getting extra points damage for my arcane. I was getting extra points damage for this. I think I did like 22 points of damage in my final dice roll with my rerolls and everything else. It was ridiculous. But the thing is, if I didn't kill him then, it was game over.
Yeah.
It was either you kill him now, you do it now. I mean,
right.
Because you, me, and Al, we're sitting there going, okay, well, we got to go do it now. We got to do it now. And we're like, no, we can't do it. And we just got super lucky. Oh.
Yeah, the dice were with us.
It's so tense. It's one of the rare times that dice are actually on my side. Yeah. All the rerolls I had. I love this game so much. But that is my number 3. Cthulhu Death May Die, Fear of the Unknown. And the relics in that game is what really makes it.
Yeah, the relics do help out.
Originally they have those, what is it, the unknown monsters on the side. And I'm like, man, those guys break the game. But we played the relics wrong the first time we played it. And who knows why, but then once we did the relics correctly in the next game, it was just, oh, okay. The unknown monsters balances the fact that the relics are super powerful because those unknown monsters are going to come over and they're just going to murder you.
That's such a good game. Oh, that's so much
phenomenal. Fun. My number 3, Cthulhu Death May Die, Fear of the Unknown by Kaman.
Okay, now are we...
My number 2?
Number 2?
Is it my number 2 or your number 2?
Let's see. Did you do... So I did...
I'm down to my top 2.
Yeah, I know. I did get... Yeah, so yeah, you do your number 2.
My number 2. Okay. My number 2 is a game that when it came out this year, I've been waiting for this game for like 5 years. And when it came out, I told everybody, or at least you and a couple others, I think this is my game of the year. My number 2. But I've been waiting for this. It is based on one of my all-time favorite games. And the theme is so good that I know Cody's never played it.
Oh, yeah.
But this is Freedom 5, all right, by Arcane Wonders and Greater Than Games. Defenders of the Realm, Defenders of the Last Stand are 2 of my all-time favorite games. I absolutely love playing those games. They've been around forever, and they're so much fun. And this puts it in a superhero theme, and they basically take Sentinels of the Multiverse and Defenders of the Realm, smash them up together, and your superheroes run through the city, and you're trying to save everybody, save the people, and take out the main mastermind guy and all the villains. And I think this game is absolutely phenomenal. It's got like a little campaign, so you have a comic book and you're reading through it. And the nice thing I like about this over the other two is every time you complete the objectives of one, you flip over to the next page, and it's like it keeps changing. So you defeat one villain or whatever the scenario says, and then it just gets a little harder, and then it just gets a little bit harder, and it's like, oh, it just gets so intense. The other thing that's really cool is if you ever played Defenders of the Realm or Defenders Last Stand, you have this big giant monster deck of cards that everyone's pulling through, and you got to get the right colors. Well, the cool thing about this one is every character has their own deck, and they all do things entirely different. So you really have to work together to try to utilize and mix your powers together and to mitigate all of the problems that are going to happen. I mean, if you get anarchy tokens on the board and you got one guy that can deal with them, he needs to deal with them. I mean, people need to deal with their specialties. But this game just does it so good. Now, this is just a small standee retail version because that other box is just too absolutely ginormous for me. I think it's bigger than the Firefly box.
Wow.
But absolutely love this game. It is so fun. I think I like it better than anybody else I played it with. I love superhero games, but I love the fact that it's not Marvel, it's not DC. Sentinels and Multiverse, phenomenal.
All right, yeah, I know you've really talked that up. We'll have to hit it sometime.
Yeah,
but all right, that's good. That was your 2.
That was my number 2. Arcane Wonders, greater than games.
All right,
super good.
My number 2, one we've already discussed. This is Dune: War for Arrakis.
Oh, yeah.
Got it?
Yep, I got it. It's buried.
All right, and the great thing about that box is that you can do it. You can do it either way. Either way, and it's right. No, Dune: War for Arrakis. This is another one. I played this one at the beginning, toward the beginning of the year. Again, I want to say March or April. And again, I thought this is going to be my favorite game. I can't imagine anything surpassing this game. Everything we said before about it, the asymmetry is phenomenal. The minis, the production of this is great. The card play, the dice, how you're rolling the dice for your actions, but then you're also doing it for combat. Everything about this game is just great, and I like too in the asymmetry. I like how you are chasing the Harkonnens. They're trying to get the Sieches, but the Atreides are chasing those cards. They get the scoring cards that come out, and so it's just so much fun. It's a dudes on the map war game that is not terribly heavy, but there's still a lot of great choices in this game. And there's a lot of great, and it's one of those things too where you roll the dice and you got to do a certain action, but you just don't have the dice for it. You're just but I love this game. I love it. I love it so much. And one of the things I love about it too is again, I don't think it's particularly heavy, but for as heavy looking as it is, it's again not a terribly long game. You're hour and a half, 2 hours. It's a pretty easy game to get into in a time frame to play. I really love Dune: War for Arrakis quite a bit, and I'm really excited to get the Kickstarter, the GameFound version of it. That's going to be a lot of fun to get that. So that is Dune: War for Arrakis. Anything else you want to say about Dune: War for Arrakis?
You know what's super cool about this game is it's actually, for what it looks to be a super heavy game, it's not a complex game to play. No. I don't think. I mean, I think it's rated as a more complex game than what it is. There's a couple things you have to look up and maybe understand, but for the most part, no, it's not that hard to understand the game, and it's the strategies are I mean, really it comes down to those dice a lot of times.
Yeah.
If the dice don't give you the actions that you need, and you can't get the cards that you need to be able to do some of your actions, you've got to figure out how to get around that and how to still work around all that. So it's a really fun puzzle to do.
No,
it really is, especially when you're the Fremen and you got to figure out how in the world you're going to get to the Sieges and you can do those cards. I think the Fremen hands down are the hardest to play.
Oh yeah, agreed. Yeah,
I mean
it kind of feels like in Star Wars Rebellion, right, where the Harkonnen kind of feel like the Empire. If somebody's learning the game, you probably want them to play that faction, right? Because there's more nuance with the Rebels in Star Wars. There's more nuance with the Fremen here in Dune. So.
Yeah. Oh, so it is a phenomenal game.
All right, so that is Dune: War for Arrakis. That's from Come On. That is my number 2. All right, now before we talk about our number 1s, let's go ahead and do honorable mentions. I know you said you had one. I have several,
Yeah.
but you go ahead and mention what your honorable mention
So,
is.
I can give you several, but I'm going to give you one. And the only reason I'm going to put this as an honorable mention is because we just got this game.
Okay.
And
Was this a 25 or a 24?
no, this came out late
Okay.
24, but
All
we
right.
just got this game.
Okay.
This is Assault on the 105s. This is a solitaire only game.
Have you played it?
I have.
Oh, okay.
Well, this is why it's an honorable mention.
Okay.
Because I started playing it at like 2:00 in the morning one time. I couldn't sleep.
All right.
And I haven't been able to get it back to the table. But what I have played was so good. It's not a long game. If I remember right, this originally was, I think, a print and play. And the designer was able to come up with enough funds so he actually was able to put the game together.
Right.
But I think this is going to be a really good game. I think this game is going to fly under the radar. I don't think people are going to know about this game. And I think people that, especially that like solitaire games, they need to know about this game. They really
Well, I'm
do.
looking forward to playing it.
So no, I'm leaving it here because I finally brought it back from the unboxing that I did on it. But you need to play this game.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to it. Wasn't there an issue with the rule book you said, or?
Well, we're waiting to hear back. Yeah.
Okay.
I mean, the initial copy
But you were able to play it without that, or with?
I downloaded the rule book.
Oh, okay.
I downloaded a copy of the rule book. So yeah, the rule book I got, there was a misprint in it that, I don't fault the publisher because the center page was backwards and duplicated. So it was missing actually 4 pages, but I got an online rule book, so which is no problem. And they don't go through every page of a rule book in manufacturing. They just can't do it. So at no fault of his own. That was the problem that I have with the game. But I think this is super good.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to it. It looks pretty awesome.
Yeah. It's Assault to the 105s. I highly recommend people.
So we'll have a full review. Probably a ways out because we got a lot of stuff coming up, but we'll have a full review for that one for sure. So.
It's so good.
Okay, so my honorable mentions are, and like I say, I got a bunch of them here. Diluvium, which was a fun 4X in an hour game with 4 players, so that was pretty cool. Horrified World of Monsters, which is on Ray's list. Imperium Horizons was 24.
Yes, it was.
Which surprised me. I thought that was 23, but Imperium Horizons, which was good, but again, I think the Star Trek Captain's Chair eclipsed it. But although
if Captain's Chair was not on your list, would Horizons have maybe squeaked on the bottom end of it?
Maybe.
Yeah.
It
wouldn't have been as high. I'll guarantee that.
But I'll tell you this: I don't just like Captain's Chair better than Imperium Horizons. I like it like a lot better.
Oh no, I agree. I agree.
Okay, Vijay Nagara.
Yeah.
Which we talked about. Mandalorian Adventures. Pacific War 1942 Solitaire. The Battle of Kulkin Gul. I just put up my review for that today, which was a pretty fun war game. Red Dust Rebellion, which we discussed tonight. Space Marine Adventures Tyranid Attack. Which is a great
I got it right here.
solitaire cooperative game. Barbarian Kingdoms, which was a fun game. I did my review here for that not too long ago. Area Control. Weirdwood Manor, which we discussed tonight. Joyride, Survival of the Fittest, another game we discussed here.
Should be on your list.
Should be on my list. Axis and Allies, North Africa, which was not on the list, which kind of surprised me. And 1 Hour World War II, which I thought was a pretty fun take on a strategic World War II game. All right, so
let me add to that then.
Go ahead.
Because the Invincible, the hero building game. I actually like that. It had a couple issues.
Yeah.
That I think could easily fix in a patch.
Yeah.
But there was some stuff in that game that I actually I really liked in that one.
Yeah, it was it was a fun game. I like that one too.
Yeah, and I think that's the main one. And The Last of Us was fun, but I think it could have been a little. It could have been a little bit better. I wish it was a little bit better. But yeah, I think we got everything.
Okay, I'll go. You want to go first, or you want me to go first?
It's your channel. I'll go first.
Go ahead.
Okay, so I'll guarantee you I know his number one. I guarantee you he knows my number one. It's no surprise. If anybody knows me and has paid attention to anything I've said in any of my top lists or something like that, this is hands down, a no-brainer, my favorite game. But I'm now going to explain why this is my favorite game, because that has changed. Now, to be fair, I will say that the designer of this game, Brett Merrill, he's part of my normal game group. I've been gaming with him for 7 years. But Duel of Ages 2 has been my all-time favorite game. And that was my number one game before I met Brett, just so you know. Once I met him and I got to play it more and I really got to learn the insights of this game, it just got better. Now, when Factions came out, it's kind of I wouldn't say a simplified version of Duel of Ages 2. He changed some stuff up a lot of it. He kind of changed all the ages over to the factions. So it plays easier. It's streamlined is the best word for it. But it's still a hex encounter game at its heart. But it just plays so smooth. He got rid of the time, so it's no longer just kind of play however long you want to play and then call your any time to. It's now a number of turns, so you now know when the end of the game is. Okay. Because Duel of Ages 2 is my favorite game, this is almost automatically going to become my favorite game. However, the best thing about Factions is there is now a campaign. It is a solo or cooperative campaign that comes with this game. It is box number 3, and I'm actively playing that right now. And that makes this game so much better. It makes you have to do stuff in this game that you've never thought you would have to play. You have to play different than you've ever had to play this game before. You have to think harder about how you're going to win the game even more. And that's what makes this game that much better. I mean, we played a couple nights ago, we ended up playing 2 scenarios. And it's like, this is 11 o'clock at night. I mean, if I didn't have to go to work the next day, I would have played again. I didn't want to play the second game because I had to go to work the next day, but I did anyways. I always want to play this game. It is so much fun. It is so good. If you like Hex Encounter War games, you got to look into this game. It is phenomenal, and it tells some of the best stories. It is so good.
Now, let me just be clear here. This is not just your favorite game of 2024. This is your favorite game of all time.
This will be. I am almost going to guarantee you this will eclipse, because my number one game right now is Duel of Ages 2 of all time.
Right. But this is a better game than Duel of Ages 2.
Hands down.
Yeah.
Hands down. I thought Freedom 5 may take this from me until I played the solo campaign.
Yeah.
And that solo campaign is so good. It is so good.
Yeah, I haven't played the solo. I've just played the team game.
Or sorry. Well, it's a solo campaign, but it's also it's cooperative as well.
Yeah.
So you can play either way. And we're actually playing a 4-player cooperative.
Yeah.
In my group. So it's good. It's so good.
Oh, I didn't even realize that. Oh, there's me on the back of the box.
Yeah.
I didn't even realize that. He's got a little quote from me and TDG on the back there. I didn't even realize that.
And you see all this right here? These are all the awards that Duel of Ages 2 won.
Yeah.
I mean, Duel of Ages 2 is a big award winning
game. You said you did some playtesting on this too, didn't you?
Yeah. I'm one of the playtesters, but yeah.
I
did a lot of the early playtesting, but he has a main group that does all this heavy playtesting, because some of those guys, they literally play Duel of Ages every week, and they've done that for years.
Yeah.
They probably know the game better than Brett knows the game.
Yeah.
So,
yeah. Oh, I know. Because I played.
Yeah.
I think it's Brett's son and one of his friends.
His son Cody and Colby.
Yeah. So anyway,
Luke's phenomenal at this game as well.
Yeah. It is.
Yeah.
It's a great game. It's just superb. It's really fun. Like I say, good hex encounter game, but not a traditional hex encounter game. We got standees and stuff, but it's fun. It's really, and it's unusual. There's no other game quite like this. I can't think of any game that even comes close to in theme, in gameplay, mechanics. No. I can't think of anything that's quite like it. And didn't Brett say it's like huge in Germany or something like that?
Yeah, this has a real big following overseas.
Yeah.
Over in Europe, Germany. It's huge following over there.
Yeah.
But there's still a lot of people over here that just absolutely love this game.
No, absolutely. Well, that is great. World Spanner Factions, awesome game. And I didn't even realize it had my name on it. That's cute.
Fantastic.
All right. So, all right. You know what my number one game is. Why don't you go ahead and grab it and bring it out here?
I will do that.
So this is, again, a game that just absolutely blew me away. Was not expecting it. Burning Banners from Compass Games. This game, it was funny because this is the first game Compass Games has sent to me to review. Now, I've purchased Compass Games before and reviewed them. This is the first one they sent to me as a review copy. And I kind of, honestly, it was kind of a word of mouth thing. I heard a lot of people talking about it, and a lot of people asking questions. Is this, telling me this is going to be a good game? And I was so surprised when I played it that it wasn't just fun, it was like amazingly fun. It's a real basic light to medium war game, you know, generally, but then you add in the magic and the heroes, and it's so good. And there's a real each faction feels different. They got
Oh
great
yeah.
artwork. It feels the fellow that designed the game did the artwork. The map is one of the most beautiful game board maps I think I've ever seen in my life. I love the artwork here and the map here. And you
There's
know,
there's 4 boards,
mhm.
and each board's 4 panels.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
I mean, we had to play this at my house because
When we played the
it
full
is,
game, yeah.
it's like it's like 38 inches by like
Yeah,
50 some. I mean, it's just huge.
and what was cool is, the when we played those big games, because we played, what, like a 5-player game and a 4-player game that was
Yes.
huge, and then you and I just played the 2-player games here, and they were all fun.
Oh yeah.
It's just good. I love the dice here, where you're rolling the white dice and the black dice, but then if you get, what is it, the 5s and
If you get
6s.
a 7 and 8 on the black dice, then you can roll a 6-sided dice.
That's
See if
right, then you
hit again,
confirm it, that's
then you
right.
confirm the crit, and you can do
Because
extra damage.
yeah, exactly. It's so much fun. It is absolutely so much fun. Great combat system, great lore, great like I said, great artwork. I was convinced nothing could beat Doom War for Arrakis because of course that's got the production and that's got the minis and all that stuff. But I don't know what it is. I just absolutely fell in love with this game. Really one of the all-time greats. I will be interested to see when next time I do like my top 100 of all time where this thing's going to land because I'm guessing it's going to be top 10, but we'll have to see. I love this game so much.
The way you've been talking about this game, top 5.
Could be.
I mean, I
Could be.
since we played this game, you haven't stopped talking about this game.
I know it's great. I don't know. It just fired on all thrusters for me.
You talk about this in the way I talk about World's Banner Faction.
Yeah,
It's
yeah. It's just so much fun. But anyway, that's my number one, Burning Banners.
Great
Compass
game. Well worth it. Oh
Yeah.
no, it is. It is. It's a really good game.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, we have been out this for 2 hours, far longer than anyone has a
No.
right to talk about board games. So thank you so much for joining us. I think we had some really good participation tonight, and I've appreciated all your comments. I've been reading them along as we've been doing it, and it's been a lot of fun. And please, check us out. Like this video, subscribe, all that good stuff. Check out Cody Carlson, PhD. Subscribe to that channel. And thanks a lot. Do you want to say this out?
So the one thing I want to know what your guys' top games of 24 are, because one of my favorite things to do is I love going and looking to see what other people play and what do they like of the year 24. What are their favorite games? Because I've seen a lot of games that I've never even seen. I didn't even know existed on people's lists, and I've seen games that are not mine. It's kind of like Cody and I, and that's why I like doing this. His top games aren't necessarily my top games, and I love those different styles. I love those play styles. So I want to hear what your guys' games are. So definitely leave in the comments down below. But I will say this. I have to tell you, last weekend, I played the quietest game of tennis I've ever played in my entire life. I played without a racket.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, good night. We'll see you next time. Bye-bye.
Thanks for staying on.